Yesterday we have completed uptail synthesis of pharmacoin. Now we will be starting with artemisinin and its derivative. So what is artemisinin? It's a natural product that is extracted from the leaves of Artemisia annua. Okay, so it is obtained from the leaves of Artemisia annua. So let us see the basic structure. Okay, let us see the basic structure of artemisinin. Let us see the basic structure of artemisinin. So it contains an epoxide linkage and a trioxane moiety. So that is your basic thing that is necessary for your, and it contains a lactone ring. That is an, if you see it contains a lactone, 6-membered lactone ring which is fused to an cyclohexane containing a methyl, and this is connected to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 membered. So your lactone ring. Just first, I'll just show you how to draw the structure in a simpler way. I'll just show you how to draw the structure, because this, write a note, a short note on artemisinin. It comes for 5 marks in your exam. It comes for 5 marks in your exam. To start with, you draw a 6-membered ring. You draw a 6-membered lactone ring. That is O carbon. So this is a lactone ring. So next to that carbonyl group there is a methyl. Okay. Now this is connected to an another cyclohexyl ring containing a methyl group. Okay. Remember, make your structure simple so that you can study it with ease. Now next is your 7-membered ring. So first ring lactone, second ring cyclohexyl ring containing a methyl, lactone containing a methyl. Okay, now it is connected to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get a 7-membered ring. So it contains an oxygen over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4. It is connected by an peroxide and a methyl. So this is the structure of your artemisinin. Always remember the structure of your art. So it contains a trioxane ring. This is your trioxane ring, a lactone ring, and a cyclohexyl ring. All this ring contains an methyl group in it. All this ring contains an methyl group. So this is the structure of your artemisinin. Always remember the structure. So first draw a 6-membered ring, lactone ring, then draw a 6-membered cyclohexyl ring containing. In this case, methyl is next to your carbonyl group. In the second cyclohexyl group, methyl is at the 4th position. And in case of your third ring, that is your 7-membered ring, it is present at the junction of your trioxane, that is 3 oxygen. It is at the junction of the connection of your 3 oxygen. It is at the junction of your 3 oxygen. So this is the structure of your artemisinin. Okay. This is the structure of your artemisinin. This is the structure of your artemisinin. Okay. But these artemisins, they have got poor physiochemical properties. That is poor water and oil solubility, and moreover they are not stable. They are not stable. They are not a stable. So what is the next thing that you have to do? So now let's go for the mechanism of action. So if you can see, the activities because of your endo peroxide bridge. If you see the structure as I've shown, there is an endo peroxide bridge in the molecule. That is an O double bond O linkage in the molecule, which is responsible for the interaction with the heme portion of your parasite. So this peroxide links with your heme portion of your parasite. Heme is your ion portion of your parasite. This ion mediated cleavage of the bridge release, and so when this complex is formed between the artemisinin and your endoperoxide, that is endoperoxide linkage and your ion, so this liberates your free radicals. This liberates your free radical species that binds to the membranes of the proteins, membrane proteins of your parasite. So what does happens when the complex between your when the complex between an ion which is present in your heme and the endoperoxide which is present in artemisinin, there is a complex that is formed that releases a free radical which binds to the membrane protein. So this free radicals then bind to the membrane proteins, causes lipid peroxidation and damages your endoplasmic reticulum. So they causes lipid peroxidation and damages your endoplasmic. This inhibits your protein synthesis and results in your lysis of your parasite. So these free radicals are very reactive. They will damage your cell membrane, cellular membrane, and also it forms it damages this endoplasmic release. So if endoplasmic reticulum is inhibited, this inhibits the protein synthesis and ultimate results in the lysis of your parasite and ultimate results in the death of the parasite. So this is the mechanism of action of your artemisinin. So as I said, artemisinin is not good. Has got very poor physicochemical properties. So these artemisinins are then derivatized. This artemisinin is derivative. What is the first thing that they do? They reduce your carbonyl group into your hydroxyl group to give you a dihydroartemisinin. And this dihydroartemisinin then can be converted into ethyl ether or your methyl ether. If ethyl ether is known as RT ether and methyl ether is known as RT. And it can be treated with succinic acid to form artesunate. It forms artesunate. So now let us see how the reaction happens. So as you said, artemisinin gets when you treat it with your sodium borate, it reduces your carbonyl group to your alcohol. You get your dihydroartemisinin, which is used for preparation of semi-synthetic products that are more water soluble and aqueous. So you convert into a dihydroartemisinin. If you see, your carbonyl group gets converted to an hydroxy, reduction. So the hydroxy group can be alkylated to give an oil soluble ether derivative such as artemether and RT ether. So what happens? The oxygen, the O, R over here, if it forms an ether, then it forms RT ether, and it increases your your oil solubility. Where esterification of your hydroxyl group with succinic acid gives your water soluble derivative, that is your artesunate. That is your artesunate. Okay, so this is your basic SAR of your artesunate. This is basic SAR of your artesunate, and these are some of the drugs. These are some of the drugs. So as I said, that it contains a lactone ring, it contains a trioxane ring, that is your 3 oxygen, a peroxide bond which is necessary for your generation of free radical, and the most important part in your molecule. It contains a cyclohexyl, methyl, and a lactone ring containing a methyl. So these are some of the derivatives. So in this case, OH RT mole, it is called RT mole. So if it is converted into a methyl ether, then it is called artemether. If it is converted ethyl ether, it is called RT ether. And if it forms a salt with it forms an ester with succinic acid, it forms artesunate, and it can be converted into corresponding sodium or potassium salts to increase your aqueous solubility. So these are the derivatives of artemisinin. So because of their better efficacy and shorter duration of action, they are more preferred in the treatment of your multiple drug in the resistant species of your malaria. So as you have seen, whenever a drug is given in combination with others, the dose is reduced and the problem, the efficacy is improved, and the problem of resistance, development of resistance is reduced. Moreover, the toxic effect of the drug is reduced, and the duration of the drug, duration of your treatment is also reduced. So these are the various advantages of combination therapy. These are the various advantages of your combination therapy. That's why WHO, that's what and the organ recommended 5 different combinations of your artemisinin along with other drugs for the treatment of uncomplicated malaria. Namely, it can be combined with mefloquine. It can be combined with your combination of pyrimethamine and sulfadoxine. It can be combined with your amidoquine, which is an example of 4-amino-quinoline derivative. It can also ferment pyrrolidine, which is also an example of 4-amino-quinoline derivative, and also with lumefantrine. So these are the various combinations where the artemisinin can be given along with other drugs to improve the efficacy as well as reduce the risk of resistance, reduce the duration of treatment, reduce the duration of treatment, and also the dose. This is why the combinations are given. This is why the combinations are given. So that is about artemisinin. So very important from your examination point of view. It's frequently. Now next is your diaminopyrimidine, or also known as dihydrofolate reductase compounds, which are used for the treatment of your malaria. So they are slow acting erythrocytic ski jaundice. Okay, so they act on the erythrocytic stage. Okay, so they are the direct inhibitors of Plasmodium dihydrofolate reductase. So question comes, write a note on dihydrofolate reductase, means you have to write both these compounds. Diamino examples trimethoprim and pyrimethamine. Example trimethoprim and pyrimethamine. They inhibit the conversion of your dihydrofolic acid to your tetrahydrofolic acid. So they inhibit your conversion of your dihydrofolic acid to your tetrahydrofolic acid, which is the very important constituent in your DNA synthesis, and this will lead to your decreased protein synthesis. Okay, high doses it inhibits your Toxoplasma gondii species. Resistance is developed due to the mutation, as I explained during the previous. Resistance is developed due to the mutation in your DHFR, that is dihydrofolate reductase enzymes. So any of the gene encoding for this particular enzyme, if they undergo mutation, this leads to your reduced resistance to the drug. Diaminopyridine are more potent than your progonil and effective against erythrocytic forms of all species. So they are effective against all species of your malaria. So this is your basic mechanism of action of your diaminopyridine. So as you see, they can be given in combination with your sulfonylureas. So what does this sulfonamides? They act on the dihydropterate synthetase. That is the mechanism. Whereas then that gets converted dihydrotherapeutic acid, which then by dihydrofolate synthetase gets converted to dihydrofolic acid. This dihydrofolic acid gets converted into tetrahydrofolic acid by dihydrofolate reductase, and this pyrimethamine, proguanil, and trimethyl. So when you write a note on dihydrofolate reductase, then you have to include all these 3 drugs. Okay, you have to include all these 3 drugs. Okay, so this tetrahydrofolate is necessary for the synthesis of your thymidine, which is necessary for preparation of your purines, which are the nitrogen bases for your DNA synthesis. Thus, when you inhibit your conversion of a tetrahydrofolic acid from dihydrofolate by inhibiting a dihydrofolate reductase, this thus inhibits your DNA synthesis and thus blocks your protein synthesis. This is how the pyrimethamine and trimethoprim acts. So now let's go for the basic SAR. What are the requirements of the structures? So these are nothing but 2,4-diaminopyrimidine. These are nothing but 2,4-diaminopyrimidine. So it is, if you see the structure that is shown, they are 2,4-diaminopyrimidine derivatives. Okay, nitrogen at 1, 2, 3, 1, 3 position and amino group at 1, 2 and 4. So this is the basic requirement of your aminopyridine. They are anti-folate. Okay, they are anti-folates because they inhibit your folic acid. So they act as an anti-metabolite. These compounds have been extensively studied and maximum activity is noted when there is a chlorophenyl substitution at the 5th position. So if there should be a chlorophenyl substitution at the 5th position. So at the 1st position nitrogen, 2nd amino, 3rd nitrogen and 4th amino. The 5th position should contain an para-chloro substituted phenyl group. And there should be an electron donating group at the 6th position like ethyl. The chloro at the para position is necessary for the activity. Any modification in has such modification leads to pan which has got maximum activity. So when this all characters are included in the structure, this leads to the pyrimethamine which has got the maximum activity. It has got the so in case of pyrimethamine, what all things are there? It contains nitrogen at 1 and 3 position, amino at 1 and 2 and 4. At the 5th position, it contains an para-chloro phenyl group, and at the 6th position, it contains an ethyl group. So this is the structure of your pyrimethamine. Now, what are the modification first? So the 2 primary amine group at 2 and 4, as I said, is necessary for the activity. When they are converted into a secondary or tertiary amine, the activity is completely lost or reduced. An aromatic ring is directly attached to the pyrimidine ring for maximum activity. As you see at the 5th position, if the aromatic ring is directly attached to the pyrimidine ring, there is maximum activity. If the carbon or nitrogen is inserted between them, then the activity is decreased. So if you try to introduce any carbon or nitrogen between the 2 rings, pyrimidine and the phenyl ring, by a nitrogen or a carbon, it reduces your antimalarial activity. Okay, the aromatic ring should contain an electron withdrawing group at the para position. So electron withdrawing group like chloro, CF3 and all can be present at the para position. A presence of an electron donating group at the 6th position. Presence of an electron donating group at the 6th position is necessary for the activity. So these are the criteria which are necessary for your anti-malarial act. So if you try to do some modification, if you try to introduce a methylene group between the phenylic group and the pyrimidine group, you get an anti-plasmodium activity is decreased, that is anti-malarial activity, but your antibacterial activity is increased and you get your trimethoprim. You get your trimethoprim. So when you replace your at the 5th position, direct phenyl group is replaced by a methylene substituted group, and there is a trimethoxy group at 3, 4, 5 position. You get a trimethoprim multi, which has got more of antibacterial activity as compared to that of your anti-plasmodium activity, that is anti-malarial activity. So this is some relation to your SAR of your diaminopyrimidine derivative. Now comes your sulfadoxone. So it's an example of your sulfonamide. So they contain an pyrimidine ring containing a methoxy at the 5 and 6. It contains a methoxy at the 5th and 6th position. So it contains basically a sulfonamide which is attached to a pyrimidine ring containing methoxy at the 5th and the 6th position. That's the structure of your sulfadoxine. So they are given in combination with pyrimethamine to treat and prevent malaria because they act on both. They act on dihydropyridine synthetase, whereas your pyrimethamine, as I showed earlier, it acts on the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So both the enzymes are inhibited. So this will inhibit your DNA synthesis, and thus your DNA synthesis block. This leads to inhibition of your protein synthesis and thus cause the death in case of malarial parasite. Next example is your Atova cone. Atova cone. So what does it contain? It basically contains an naphthoquinone. Naphthoquinone. What do you mean by naphthoquinone? What do you mean by a naphthoquinone? What do you mean by a naphthoquinone? So this is known as a naphthoquinone. Okay, this is known as a naphthoquinone. Two carbonyl group at 1 and 4 position, and at the third position there is an OH. Second position is attached to a cyclohexyl ring. Second position is attached to a cyclohexyl, which in turn is connected to a chlor-benzene, parachlor-benzene. In turn attached to a parachloro. So this is the structure of Atova cone. Okay, this is the structure of Atova cone. Okay, very. So exam, they might ask you the structure and uses of your Atova cone. Okay, so it is basically a synthetic naphthoquinone derivative. So remember what is the basic structure? It contains an naphthoquinone, that is naphthalene link containing 1,4-oxo compound. Okay, 1,4-dioxo, and with an OH at the third position, and which is connected at the second position to a bi system, that is connected to a cyclohexyl, which in turn is connected to a chlorphenyl group. Okay, so this is the structure of a Atova. So how do they rapidly act on the erythrocytic ski jaundice? They act as an erythrocytic ski jaundice for Plasmodium falciparum and other species. Mechanism of action is they collapse the mitochondrial. So they will destroy the mitochondria. Similarly, they will form a free radical because these quinones have ability to form free radicals, and so they attack on your mitochondria. So mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. So this interferes with your ATP production and decreases their energy production and thus causes the cell death. So along with proguanil potentiates the action of your Atova and prevents the development of your resistance. So this is also given in combination with your proguanil to prevent the development of your resistance, and it is also given in the for the treatment of Plasmodium vivace and Toxoplasma contact infection. So this is the uses of your Atova. Okay. So the last class of drug is 9-amino acridine. So what are this acridine? And the example is quinarcin. The basic first drug on this class which was used was quinarcin. So what is this acridine? So chemically, let us see what is acridine. What is acridine? Simple molecule. It is similar to your your anthracene. 3-membered, but the middle ring contains your nitrogen. The middle ring contains your nitrogen. Okay, so this is the structure of your basic structure of your acridine. This is your basic structure of your acridine. So numbering, if you see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the numbering. Okay. So at the 9th position, it contains an amino. That is 9-amino acridine. These are the derivatives of your acridine. In case of quinarcin, it contains an methoxy at the second position and a chloro at the 6th position. Okay, it contains an methoxy at the second and a chloro at the 6th position, at the 6th position. Okay, and the amino group is attached to your, similar to that of your, so it contains to see 1, 2, right. So this is similar to your chloroquine side chain. It is similar to your chloroquine, primaquine, and so it contains an 2 amino diethyl aminopentane side chain at the 9th position, similar to that of your chloroquine. And if you see the structure over here, so it contains an methoxy at the second. It is similar to an anthracene ring containing a nitrogen at the middle ring. Okay, and example of your acridine derivative 9-amino acridine is your first example is quinarsine. It contains a methoxy at the 2nd position and a chloro at the 6th position, and the 9th amino group contains an 2 amino diethyl pentane, which is attached to the carbon number 9. So at the 9th position it contains an 2 amino diethyl pentane, so which is similar to that of your chloroquine, primaquine substitution. So that is a structure of your quinarsine. So quinarsine was the first synthetic example. And if you see the structure, okay, if you see the structure of quinarsine, it is a combination of, so if you see one, so this, if you see this compound, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this part is, if you consider only this part over here, this part is 4-aminoquinoline derivative, and if you see up till here, this part is your 8-amino. So if you just see this part from here to here, from you consider this part of your molecule, so this will be an example of 8-aminoquinoline. So this is a combination of your chloroquine and your primaquine. So your quinarsine is nothing but a combination of your 8-aminoquinoline and 4-aminoquinoline. So it is a combination of 8-amino and 4-aminoquinoline. Okay. So what is the mechanism of action? The mechanism of action is almost not known, but similarly they attack on the cell membrane. It was found that it used to attack the cell membrane of your protozoa. Moreover, it is known to act on histamine and methyl transferase, and also inhibits NF, kappa B and P53. So they can be used for your anti-cancer therapy also. They can be used for your anti-cancer therapy also. So these are the examples of 9. So here are some of the examples of your anthracene acridine derivatives. That is, one is proflavin. It is next is your aminocrine, that is your 9-amino acridine. Then meprakin, so it contains a side chain at all. Meprakin is nothing but quinarsine. Okay. Then pyrrolidine, then nitarsine. So these are some of the, in nitarsine it contains 1, 2, 3. It contains the 2 amino groups are separated by a propyl. So these are some of the examples of your acridine. These are some of the examples of your acridine. So with this, your anti-malarial agents are done. With this, your anti